Van Jones, author of Green Collar Economy, speaking at this weekend's PowerShift conference. It took place at the Washington Convention Center. An estimated 12,000 young people were there for the conference, the largest youth summit on climate change in history. College and high school students from all 50 states, Canadian provinces, as well as a dozen countries came together to discuss organizing for a clean energy revolution on the local and national levels. Well, Democracy Now's own producer, Nicole Salazar, headed down as well and spoke with some of the students about why they came to PowerShift 09.
Hey, what's up? My name is Martin Macias Jr. I'm 19 years old from Chicago, Illinois. I live about two miles away from two of the biggest coal power plants in the Midwest region and the only two coal power plants in Chicago. It's responsible for about 50 deaths a year in my neighborhood. And it's responsible for toxic air, toxic soil. If you look at the demographics of these communities, it's mostly Latino working class immigrants. It doesn't employ anyone from our neighborhood, and we don't get any energy.
In Michigan right now, we're in a very strong battle over the future that Michigan's going to take. We currently have 19 coal-fired power plants, 3 nuclear power plants. We have declining energy needs, and yet there's somehow an idea that there's an energy crisis, and we need to move forward with 8 new coal-fired power plants immediately in order to make sure the lights don't go off, which is absolutely a fallacy. Michigan is home to nearly 20% of global fresh water. We've got fishing advisories on all of our fish in the Great Lakes, as well as our 1,100 inland lakes, and definitely the largest single source of mercury contamination, for example, just to take one element of the contamination, is from the coal-fired power plants. We don't have any coal in Michigan, so we do import all of it, which is a huge cost to our state. A lot of the people who have made investments in renewables are upset they've got to go to Canada or other states or Germany to buy the parts when we've got all the manpower we need in Michigan and all the empty factory space to be doing that work there.
My name is James Douglas Noble. I'm from Hazard, Kentucky. The issues in my county that are the reason I'm here is mainly coal mining or mountaintop removal or deep mining, either one. My whole entire family, they work mainly on the strip mines or the surface mines. And I've actually seen 2 of my friends die in the coal mines because of like, there was a cave-in one time and one guy died, and the other guy, he just died because of lung complications. I feel that we need to give them something else other than coal and bring in a sustainable energy or a sustainable job at least, because coal runs out.
My name is Kim Smith. I am from Arizona. They did uranium mining on the Navajo Nation for over 30 years. And when Navajo people were working in these uranium mines, they weren't given any protection. They weren't given any information on the hazards of uranium mining. And so right now there are a lot of people who were working in those uranium mining and they have cancer. And so they're trying to be compensated for that, and they're just learning about what the hazards really are. And they had a uranium spill in the 70s, and to this day we're not able to use that water where the uranium spill happened.
Hobbs is just a small rural town right on the edge of Texas. It's, I'd say, 95% dominated by oil and gas industry. But with the decline of oil production, the industries that they've decided to bring in to help jumpstart our economy are a prison, a casino, and more recently, the one that worries me the most is a nuclear enrichment plant, which I learned about last night. They received their first shipment of uranium last night. A lot of my friends and my father have worked there in the refineries, and they've gotten injured, and it's just not the most safe work environment. If they don't have that good of an education, but they want to be able to support their families with a good career, they choose to do this. But the unfortunate thing is, a lot of times that work doesn't have much career mobility. My father's been working in the oil industry for 30 years. He's an awesome worker, yet they've hardly given him any opportunities to move up in the career ladder, and I know he would be doing a fantastic job if he'd had that opportunity.
Essentially, when you look at, African Americans as a whole, we can certainly see that, as the movements are happening, African Americans simply aren't getting the knowledge that's necessary. So we aren't understanding the fact that, climate change is a real threat, and people aren't basically telling them that climate change is an actual threat that is harming them in their communities. For instance, during the summertime in areas known as heat islands, African Americans are more likely to live in those areas, and as a result get adverse health issues. And Howard University, being an HBCU, we see it as our duty to make sure we spearhead this and make sure that African Americans are more informed of these issues.
there were two reasons why I wanted to be here at PowerShift. One, to learn how an event of such a scale can be held, how to get people there, how to get people working, and how best to achieve what you want to achieve. And secondly, to see if such thing could be emulated perhaps in India, and do that. And that was, and also to contribute my bit as a representative from the global south. In India, it's, for a lot of people, it's the question of survival. A lot of people still don't get electricity. So for them, it's not a question of getting clean electricity or not. For them, they need, if they are in the mountains, what they need is light, what they need is heat. We want to eliminate this misconception that green energy has to be expensive in a country like India, where we have a lot of sun, a lot of wind. Solar and wind power are great, and if they're connected to the grid, then of course things can be done. And yeah, we are trying our best.
In Puerto Rico, we have great waste management issues. We do not have proper facilities to store all the waste that we produce. Our landfills have not been properly constructed, and because of this, we have great issues with the place that they are established in. And currently, we have only three landfills for an island of 78 municipalities and over 4 million people. So.
And also, we have no real complete global recycling programs. Like, there's some in a few areas, but not everyone has it. And we want that everyone, that basic aspect that everyone says, oh, of course, recycling is the first thing. We don't have that.
Even though we're young, we only have 16 years of age, we're gaining conscience, and we want to make a change, and we want a promising future for our nation.
Francisco and Adriana from Puerto Rico, some of the 12,000 young people who attended the PowerShift 09 conference in Washington, D.C. Producer Nicole Salazar of Democracy Now! Went down to speak with folks there. When we come back from break, another major conference this weekend on the state of Black America. 6,000 people joined together in Los Angeles. The founder of the convention that took place, Tavis Smiley, he joins us from L.A. Stay with us.